boys and girls, I am back with another video. I posted a few YouTube videos of me showing what installations I've made after the fact, but today I thought I would record myself actually installing my next couple of additions, which are right over here. We have the Kuryakyn Wanderbar. I've been thinking about mounting a speaker to my bike for some time. I did consider the Kuryakyn Thunder soundbar for some time, but it's a few years old now, and I was hoping that something new would come out, and lo and behold, Kuryakyn came with this bad boy. So the great thing about this, and if you guys want to look up the Kuryakyn Thunder soundbar, there's plenty of videos online. What sort of sets this apart from that, there's a couple of things. One is that this speaker has the ability to be detached. It's a totally portable speaker. It's actually made to be used not just on the bike, but anywhere you may be going camping or to the beach, whatever. These are all plugged up, so it's nice and waterproof, but so you can actually disconnect it, whereas the Thunder soundbar is sort of hardwired to the bike constantly. You actually don't even need to hook this up to the bike if you didn't want, because there is a port for you to be able to charge it through USB if you have a USB connector on your bike as is, which is great. And these clamps make it so it can easily come on and off the bike. So these would go on the bar, which I will be doing, and these connect to that. They also have an extension with a bending arm to allow you to sort of change the angle of it. I don't know that I will need that necessarily, since I do have a drag bar. It makes it a little bit easier. That was nice for me to sort of have as an option, and being able to decide whether or not I want to ride with the speaker on or off the bike, and not just have it hardwired and hard mounted. So that was a great selling point for me for the days where I don't want to rock the Cardo in my helmet, or if I haven't charged it, or if I just want to blast some music just cause. So because I'm going to be doing that, this is going to be sitting here, on the handlebars. And because that's happening, what I want to do is I'm going to be actually removing, as much as I love it, this Rokform phone mount. I love this thing. Rokform discontinued it, so you can see pictures of this online and other videos of people who have this, for you to get a sense of how much I've used this thing. My phone case itself is wearing out, and you can see a great deal of, well, dirt, but wear on this, and I've never had any issues. Boom, nice and easy. But it would interfere with how low I want the speaker to sit. It's a pretty big speaker, and I don't want it to look too bulbous and raise above where the phone would sit. So I'm actually going to be taking this off, and instead I will be using the Rokform, staying with the brand, Perch mount. So it'll sit right here, and it'll allow me to swivel this however I need and lock the phone this way. So I'll be taking off one of these zero cup holder or phone holder Perch mounts, and I'll still have the other one. But yeah, so I'll be holding on to this guy just because it's no longer on the market, and I can't see myself getting rid of it in case I ever want to throw it back on there. So I'll be taking this off, putting this in its place. I will also be obviously mounting the speaker, and I will be wiring it to the battery harness so that I'm set to pop. So here we go. All right, so the first thing I need to do is I need to take my hex, and I need to get under this wire cover to access this guy on each side, and that'll take off the wire cover, as well as it's the same mounting point for this Rokform mount. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, so there she looks without this Indian Rokform mount. So you figure this sat probably around this high, and then with the phone mounted, probably added like another inch up, so it brings it down a lot lower. And I think I'm ready to add the speaker. So let's start there. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And pause the music. So this was a lot more tedious than I had anticipated. For one, I'm not sure if it's because there's an aftermarket drag bar, but the weight of the speaker, there's not enough bite on this bar for it to stay secure. And the weight with some bumps would have had this swivel down. So what I had to do was go underneath and put, you can't see it, but I put some clear double-sided, like rubberized insulation tape, just to give it a little bit more of a diameter, also give it some more grip for it to hold on to that bite, and there we go. So now we were able to get these on. I also had to loosen these brackets here that hold the bar to rotate it so that I could get underneath. You probably can't see it. I had to get underneath here with the hex key to tighten down this mounting bracket for the speaker onto the bar mount. There's a bolt that comes from the bottom through here, and there's a nut inside here that I had to use a ratchet to tighten it up with. So I had to actually loosen, like I said, this to rotate that out so I could access this Allen bolt under here to be able to tighten it. Once I had that leveled and aligned with the same one on the other side, I tightened everything up. I rotated the bar back to its original position, then I was able to lock these up. So it was a little bit more tedious than I anticipated. The other thing is this new Rokform mount. It's nice, it's clean, it's still just as secure. Here it goes with this magnet is super strong. Even without, if you notice this magnet here, even without tightening it, this thing is super secure. So there it goes. That's how I'll be sitting, and that's where I'll have to have it. Again, because I have this drag bar, there's not a lot of room for me to, not a lot of clearance for me to mount it this way. And when I tried having it sideways, it looked a little inverted and away from my face. So that wasn't ideal. But this seems to work out just fine for my needs. Next up, this guy, which is the charger that connects to the battery harness for this guy. I should say in advance, this is not like a power source. You don't need this to plug into for the speaker to work. What this does is it actively charges the battery. This wire here, this yellow wire, is going to allow for me to connect it to the battery in a way that the juice is not running if the ignition is not turned on, so I'm not draining the battery. In any case, we'll be back soon. All right, so here we are, seats off, which, as you can see, I still have my sissy bar on, still have the passenger pillion on. That's exactly why I switched over from the Corbin, so I didn't have to dismantle all this. So this is pretty quick access now. What's gonna happen is, this is obviously going to connect to the typical positive and negative, right? And as I mentioned, this is going to prevent your bike from being drained when the ignition is not turned on and your speaker is connected to the charger. So what you're gonna do is you have to go in, obviously, you sort of have to dig around, and you have to look for this purple and brown wire. This is what's going to connect. This is your ignition switch connection. This black shrink wrap was all the way up above this. I had to cut it down. They don't want it exposed out in your battery compartment. And you're going to connect this yellow wire there. So keep that in mind. If you are going to, anybody looking to buy this, no need to cut into the wires, no need to splice anything. You just connect this to your ignition switch and you should be set to pop. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Whew. Okay, so now everything's connected underneath, positive, negative, and the ignition switch wire. Seat is quickly put back on as compared to the Corbin that I just replaced. Glad I did that. So now I have the wire running securely under the tank, not touching the engine at all, and it comes up through the left side so that it can go and plug and charge into the speaker. Now, if you notice, bike's off, I have the key in, but the bike's off. None of the indicators are blinking. Hit the switch. Now let's take a peek. Now the indicators are turning blue and blinking. That indicates the charging. I will probably in a separate video, I'll give you guys a sample of what this sounds like at a distance, so you get an idea of how well this performs on the road. Now, when I don't want this on the bike, or at least I don't need it to be charged, you simply turn this twist lock and then you pull it, turn it off, pull it from the charging port. Make sure you seal this, keeps it nice and air and watertight. And then this can either be tucked into your headlight housing. For me, I might run it through behind the wire cover that's there. That's all when I'm not using the battery or not having it charged. This is what it looks like with it on the bike on the occasions that I do use it. But let's just assume that I tucked this already. Then I want to take off the speaker itself. Simple. You see these two latches? You take one, you pull it, unlock it, and then you twist it counterclockwise. Do the same over here. Pull the latch, twist it counterclockwise. You should see the speaker start to become unsettled. Again, this is all with one hand, and boom, and easy that is. And you hardly ever noticed that there was something that was supposed to be mounted there. It's the beauty of this thing. So I will follow up with my impressions once I give this a few goes on the road. I'll also give you guys a play test to sample it so you guys can hear it. I also had some questions for some follow-ups. I do have some other updates that you can't quite see with the naked eye. So second video to follow not too long after this. Keep an eye out. And otherwise, keep your two wheels to the ground. Have a good one.